It's a he said, it's a she said kind of love affair. Is love in the air, or is your relationship on the verge of destruction? Let's talk about it. Sit back,
Relax.
and enjoy your favorite cocktail as we discuss relationships, dating,
Sex.
and love. Love on the rocks, that is. Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks. Love on the rocks.
Oh, yeah, guys. Welcome to Love on the Rocks. Hey, what's up? It is Roger the Wild Child here with Megan. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. Your TV screen is not doing too good.
I don't know why. I don't know what it's doing. I have the worst luck with computers. You know this.
Well,
I don't
you
know.
got friends that are in IT, so why don't they help you?
I've not thought to ask.
Leave it to Megan.
It has not even crossed my mind. But now that you said that, I'll be hitting Greg up.
All right. And you got Greg as a special guest tonight. We'll bring him on here in a little bit. Yep.
Greg is a dear friend of mine, and I also dated Greg 14, 15 years ago. And he is my best friend's cousin as well. But he's been through it. You know what I mean? With relationships, he's been through it. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna join us tonight, and I'm curious to hear his opinion and outlook and whatnot. So it'll be a good show.
Yep, we got a great topic tonight: balancing independence and togetherness, maintaining your identity in a relationship.
Yes.
This is huge. This is like a huge topic to talk about here.
It is. It's a good one.
All right, let's bring Lydia on the screen. Lydia, how's it going?
Hi, my darling.
Sorry, I was eating my fruit roll-up.
All right, nice.
Because I'm a child who drinks Mountain Dew and
Hey,
fruit roll-up.
me too. I've got a Mountain Dew too. I'm right there with you.
Now I just need some dinosaur chicken nuggets and I'll be all
Mountain Dew and some fruit roll-ups.
Right?
Good.
Yeah, there you go. And then let's bring on our newest relationship influencer to the show, Courtney from Cali. What's up, Courtney Gale?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How are we doing?
Hey, we're good. I'm good. How are you guys?
Awesome. So give us a little bit of background about you and your relationship and your relationship views and what you do for
stuff. All right. So I'm here in Southern California. I'm a full-time photographer, and I guess a little bit of acting, as we just discussed, tiny bit.
But because you're in the new movie Clown Motel 3 that they're filming right now.
Yeah, Clown Motel 3. It's going to be amazing. So we just did about 95% of our filming. She really wants to see it. And in Nevada, the actual like haunted Clown Motel. It was. I could tell you stories about that later. It was interesting.
That place is terrifying.
Also, my friend Johnny is in that movie.
Yeah?
Yeah, he plays Ham.
Oh, yeah, Johnny, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the most amazing scene in this next one. Yeah, everyone's going to love it. He plays Hammy.
So tell us a funny joke to anyone who's seen the first one.
So tell us about your relationship background.
Okay, relationship background. After many years of bouncing around and not really knowing what I was doing, I'm currently polyamorous. I'm a polyamorous pansexual. I said, "Are you sure you want me to come on this show?"
Yes.
So yeah, here I am. That's working best for me. It's been a good couple of years. We'll see what happens next.
And we'll see where your journey continues on, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So explain to everybody, that don't know out there what pansexual is.
I was gonna say that.
So I've just always been attracted to people for them, for their soul, for who they are. It doesn't have to do with what sex you are. That really doesn't come into play. Gender doesn't necessarily come into play. I'm attracted to what's inside. Granted, what's on the outside totally makes a difference. But if you're a crappy person on the inside, it makes you not attractive on the outside. And I don't really care if,
Yes.
boy or girl, doesn't matter. I'm very, very blessed to have some really strong soul connections with a few different people. And they all add something to my lives. I'm able to give that back.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
I was holding on to that the whole time, and I'm like, I don't know. Sorry.
Feel free to guys chime in on the chat room, say hello, let us know that you're watching, where you're watching from. We're going to talk about relationships today, but we're going to bring on our guest that's joining us. Mr. IT gets all the chicks. From what
Right.
Bring them on.
Hello, Greg.
How you
Welcome,
doing?
Greg.
Hi,
Thank you.
Greg.
This
Hi.
is your
Greg.
official that you have to fix Megan's computer
Yeah.
because she won't ask you.
All 5 of them that are new that I've managed to ruin.
We can do that.
Yeah, soon.
So, Greg, tell us a little bit about your background and with relationships.
And why are you here?
Yes. Why are you here, Greg?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see. I'm a single dad, so I have two little ones. Me and the ex have complicated history. He knows all too well about that. Dating is difficult. Some of it's self-brought. Some of those problems are my own, but it's definitely different trying to date in today. For sure.
You know, dating today is a very tough world. Back in the day, we could go meet somebody in the grocery store produce aisle and fall in love. Now it's like, nope, don't even talk to me. Don't even touch
It's
me.
meet and greets, Roger.
It's the headphones, so no one talks to you when you're grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got your earbuds in, jamming to the tunes.
Even if they're not connected to anything.
Right.
Right.
I think it's that when we meet someone in the produce aisle, then we immediately go home and stalk them, and we figure out which of their exes we know, where they came from, and we know the whole history before we even have a conversation.
Right.
I mean, that's what I heard anyway.
Yeah.
I would never do that, but I know a girl that would.
I heard that too.
I'm telling you, and a scorned woman, angry woman, FBI, man.
Mhm.
FBI.
You got
You
got to know your shit too, because then now they got like Facebook groups where they, we talked about this on the show, where you throw people's pictures
Do you
in.
guys have those groups too? Greg?
I don't. I think, there was a story a couple weeks, I guess it was a couple months ago, where, Charlie ended up on one of those, and we think we thought it was his ex. No idea, but he was like, I'm not even dating anybody. Why am I getting brought into this? Who's this guy?
But do guys have those types of groups as well? Like, hey, if you talk to this chick.
I've never
think
seen
there
one.
is.
No,
I haven't been in them. I haven't seen them, but I'm sure they exist.
I've always wondered. If
Do they have
feel like
Facebook
we
groups
have
that love squirrels?
Yeah.
All right, then they probably have a Facebook group of guys,
I mean,
trying to find out if this girl's a
I would
slut or not.
assume they do. I've just never seen them, and nobody that I know has ever brought them up. So I didn't know if they existed. But I'm sure they do.
I'm sure it does, but
I'm sure they do.
Oh yeah.
Maybe one of those investigative women will find that out this week and tell you next time.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
homework for anyone that is watching.
Yes. Yes.
So Jessica Daniels on YouTube says, "Are we dating the same person? Groups are in most major cities for guys and girls." Thank you,
Thank
Jessica.
you, Jessica. I was wondering. Now I'm
But
gonna have to.
does it work the same in your guys? I live in a small town, small area, and whenever someone puts something on there, within hours the guy knows. Like, what's
That's
the point?
how it is here.
They're just
where me
girls are
and
just
Greg
throwing
live.
each other under the bus.
That's
Mhm.
how it is in Georgia
Mm.
for us. Yeah.
Georgia.
Nothing is anonymous here.
All right. So our topic today, balancing independence and togetherness. I am not going to doubt. I'm not going to doubt that everybody agrees that, you know, we should have independence in a relationship.
No,
Does
you should
anybody here
spend
actually
all of
think?
your time with me every day, all day.
Well,
Yeah.
if that's how your relationships
No, I
work,
don't. I'm just kidding. I get sick of myself, so
yeah.
I'm
I can only
saying,
imagine.
there's days I don't even want to be around myself, much less put someone else through that torture.
But does anybody feel like you don't put you lose your independence when you're in a relationship, and that's okay?
I don't think you should lose all of it.
Not lose all of it, but naturally I feel like you're going to lose some of it, and that's perfectly okay because they're losing some of theirs just as much.
Well, when you're choosing to be in a relationship with somebody, you're going to create a togetherness and a bond.
Right.
But you still need to be able to have your independence. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have to do the guys' night at the bar and the girls' night and, you know, weekend in Vegas.
Why not?
Right.
Well, I mean, for some people it works, some people it does not. I mean, if you have like a hobby that you like to do, or, you know, something that you do where, you know, that's you, then, you know, you should be able to create that. Now, if you guys are comfortable in your relationship and you have, you know, guys go to the bars and get drunk with the guys and the girls go get drunk with the girls, and there's good trust issues, but then again, we get to a point where you do the nights at the bars because we know how dangerous alcohol can damage relationships. So is that a borderline right there?
I mean, it depends on how serious you are in the relationship. And I'm sorry.
You're okay. Yeah. I was just
agree.
Gonna say it's easier to set ground rules these days than it used to be. I feel like people are talking and communicating a lot better. Like before, they were unspoken rules, and so now it's a lot easier, at least within the people that I know, to communicate like what you're okay with. You don't want to be someone that's willing to give up all your independence and be dating someone that doesn't want to give up any of theirs. You really need to meet in the middle on that, I feel like.
Absolutely. You got to trade it off, right? Like you can't go play golf both days every weekend, right?
Right.
Work all day. Like, I mean, you're going to have to make time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as a parent. Like, then you've got to balance not only time with the kids, but time with your significant other. But then even in between that, like time that's just for the two of you.
Right.
And then when do you have time for yourself?
And then have time for yourself. You know, if you're in a serious relationship and you're with someone you see every day or every other day, that plays even more so in trying to balance kids, you know, together. You know, if it's serious, like I said, I would assume time involving the kids. And then time for yourself. It's a wicked balance.
It's like a 40-hour job outside of a 40-hour job.
It really is. It really is. It takes a
know,
lot of work.
You know, you're trying to be in a relationship with somebody, but then you have responsibility of a family at home. And I don't mean being in a relationship and you have a husband or wife at home too. I'm not talking about that. But you got kids at home, you know, and then you've got that responsibility. Then you've got your full-time job that you got to make sure the bills are paid, you know, and it's like, you know, sometimes, you know, and then you got to figure out me time, you know, how do I take time out for me? And
well, I get about 15 minutes from like 9:45 to 10 o'clock. So I'm good for a little bit.
You're good for a little bit. And what are you going to do in that 15 minutes, Lydia?
I don't know if we can talk about that on air.
It's funny, you know, like the kids complain about going to sleep. They're like, I hate sleep. And I'm like, you're really going to regret saying that one day
Mhm.
because that's
Right.
literally my favorite thing. But
So
I
feel
have
like
been
that
making,
means
oh, sorry.
I'll get the hang of it eventually.
Yeah.
I have been taking more time for myself. Like every Monday through Friday, I'm taking an hour and a half to go to the gym, you know, so I feel like that's helping.
Yeah. And you got to do that in a relationship. What about people that are completely let themselves lose their independence when they're in a relationship? My opinion, completely unhealthy.
Absolutely. Been there, seen it.
But people do it. Yeah, exactly. I've given up my independence for somebody else. And then it's like now it's like I'm doing what I want to do.
Right.
And I'm in any future relationship I'm in the future, no one's gonna take that from me. You can't take away who you are, and you can't just shut off who you are. You know, because you need to be, otherwise you're not gonna be happy. You're not even gonna be happy in the relationship you're in if you're not content with who you are.
Right.
Absolutely.
Why do we have to get so serious?
Because it's a show we talk about relationships, and this is a serious issue because people are in relationships and they lose themselves in relationships.
I will say that I feel like this is a topic of a two-headed coin because one, yeah, you can lose your independence just because like they're like so in love, they want to be with you all the time. And then I also look at it at the perspective of being like an abused spouse who they lose complete independence because their partner is just somebody who wants to be in power. So they take everything away from their partner. So, I look at it from both sides of that.
It is. And you brought up a very good point there, Lydia. There is definitely two sides on that one. You're right. One person totally devoted and the other one fear of their life to even leave because they want to make sure that partner is happy and because they fear their life. And I get that. And that happens more often than we think.
There's a third side too, which is that completely unattached, aloof person that doesn't engage in the relationship as well, right? That stays distant, but is holding on to that person, but not engaging.
Right.
So they're maintaining their own independence. Is that what you're?
Yeah, maintaining their own independence, right? But like not bringing anything into the relationship emotionally, right?
So that's normally a trauma response, though, right? Both of those we just said are either someone's been hurt in the past, and so they're keeping their walls up, or like I used to just dump myself completely into a relationship and cling on to I would just change everything I was to fit what they wanted. And then I learned about codependency and where all that came from, and I was like, ugh. So you can't pour from an empty cup if you don't work on yourself. And you don't take that time for yourself.
Bingo.
You don't really have anything of value to give to anybody, not your kids, not your spouse, no one.
That's right.
I think.
So I know we had talked about like making rules and boundaries as far as this. Like, so what would be your rules for your partner? Like, are you letting them have the night out at the bar? Or is it just they can go play Dungeons and Dragons in the basement? And what are you allowed to do? If you have a guy best friend, are you allowed to go hang out with them? I'm just curious.
Are you talking? Are you asking?
I'm talking to all four of you.
Well, I will start. Obviously I have a lot of female friends that are just friends, right? But the other person doesn't know that they're just friends. They don't know the extent of that relationship. So I can understand from an outside point of view how they would feel threatened. But if you're building the relationship and you're building the trust there, you need to be able to trust that other person. Do I believe that the person that I'm with should go to a bar without me or me go to the bar without them? What's good for one is supposed to go for the other, right? I don't think that that's healthy just because I know how alcohol works and I don't think that's great for a relationship. But if they wanted to go and have dinner with another friend or, or something like that, or, or introduce the other person so they know they're not a threat, but if you're being secretive about this other person, there's going to be some jealousy involved.
Yeah. And I would say the bar can be different too, right? Like there's one thing to go to the bar at, for 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the afternoon, and then there's going till 2 a.m. right? There's different crowds, different intentions, right? Whether it be, girls getting together to do wine tasting and cheese or whatever, or guys going to watch a game. It just depends on what you're doing.
It makes, and that's a good point on there too, I mean, you have to look at each scenario differently, and just, and you guys got to communicate about it. Hey, I want to go do this with this person. You're welcome to come with, or I'm just gonna, you're like you said, let's go watch the game with the guys Sunday afternoon and have some drinks. But like when I go to the bar, I don't drink. I'm usually going to watch music, watch live bands play. So, and that's usually my thing. But I can understand why a person would not feel comfortable having the other person go to a drinking establishment without the other person.
So aside from like alcohol, like what else would anybody find as a boundary? Like they would not be comfortable with their significant other doing those things without them.
My biggest boundaries are lying. I don't care what you're doing, as long as you're honest about it. I don't know if that's a boundary or not, but as long as there's open communication, we can normally figure out anything. But as soon as you're sneaking around, if you have to hide something, you already have a problem.
Exactly.
I think, Roger, I think you said it earlier. One of the big things for me is just don't do anything that you're not comfortable with me doing. Right. That's kind of where.
Right. Exactly.
Where I set boundaries. Right. Like I was seeing a girl last year that was thinking she was going to take a trip with her ex-husband and the kids. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, just be clear. Like if you decide that that's what you want to do, there will be no questions if I decide that I'm going to do that as well. And oh boy, did that stir it up. And I was like, look, if you're going to go, you got to be comfortable with me making that same decision.
It's not all about you. It's about, compromise with your partner.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's that's the key right there. Knowing, I mean, if you have to ask yourself, if I was in the shoes here, would I be open enough would I be okay to let this person do what I want to do right now? And if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you can't expect the other person to agree with you.
Absolutely. I'd add one more thing too. Like you don't have to always be comfortable with what you're doing as long as it was communicated, like I mentioned, and then also you're not lying, you're not hiding, and it's out in front. You don't have to be comfortable. It's you're not their boss, their parent.
Just I agree. Respectful. It's totally okay to be uncomfortable, especially when there's kids in the situation. I'm also a full-time single mother as well. And sometimes you if you enter into a relationship with someone that have children, you might be uncomfortable sometimes because those kids have to come first. So being uncomfortable is all right as long as no one's hiding or lying or being deceitful, and you learn how to be comfortable. And if you can't learn how to be comfortable, maybe it's not the right situation.
In a new relationship, I can understand, you got to figure out the boundaries. But if you're like married and you're like, been together for several years, there's got to be a trust in that relationship where if they wanted to go drink with the guys, you're like, okay, no big deal. If you want to go hang out in Vegas with the girls and do a bachelor party, no big deal. But not till the relationship is more established and the trust issue is there. Anybody disagree?
No.
I don't.
Mm-hmm. There's so many.
Y'all disagree?
Yeah, I feel like the longer you're together, pretty much don't want to be around each other that much, honestly, at that point. So you're willing to give anything up. Like, oh, yeah, no problem. We'll see you later.
Find someone to take care of it for me so I don't have to do it later.
And we'll see you later when we have our separate beds and our separate rooms.
Right.
So I don't hear your snoring. I get all the sheets. I can make it as cold as I want.
My grandparents had separate rooms.
A lot. You know what? I was reading an article recently that said it's actually starting to be a trend in couples of them having their own room and having their own space.
My daughter and her boyfriend have their own room.
Yeah, sometimes it works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, like, if you start kissing in one room, do you stay in that one for, or do you go to the other room? Like, and at what point do you kick them out? I mean, is it like that?
One room's the playroom. The other room is the goodnight room.
These are questions that will plague me.
Things that make you go,
I do have a segue back to the conversation. I know we're talking about like maintaining your identity in a relationship, but what happens when your identity changes in the relationship? Like, say, you see these things about couples where one will like lose a super amount of weight. And so now their whole outlook on life is different because they're a completely different person and their partner is no longer really comfortable with them. And then I know I've talked about this before in the show of My 600-Pound Life, those relationships tend to falter when the person starts losing weight and their partner doesn't feel like they're their caretaker anymore and they leave. Open discussion.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like these are things when you're picking out a partner that are really important. Again, it goes back to that open communication. Are you picking someone that's willing to grow with you? Some people in life are absolutely okay staying just how they are. I don't have any interest in staying the way I am, and I tend to not involve myself with people in all kinds of relationships, work relationships, friendship, whatever they might be. I want to grow constantly. So you want to make sure who you're investing your time and your feelings in.
Makes a lot of sense. Relationships are very hard. They're very difficult. It's if somebody told you that relationships were easy, they'd be lying to you. And the thing is that building that trust with that partner and knowing where to divide the line, and that's something that's not going to happen overnight. It's a growing process, and you got to find time to be able to know when you can have time for yourself. I don't care how deep in a relationship you are with somebody, you need to take at least 5 minutes for yourself. It doesn't matter whether it's.
That's so important.
It is.
That's a must.
Whether it's going out for a drive and cranking the music up.
Right. Whether it's a drive, going to get your nails done, going to the park to walk, to have a run. You've got to have 5 minutes for yourself to regroup, to just maintain. I feel like just maintain, you've got to have those minutes every day. It's important. I feel like whether it's going and taking a hot bath by yourself and just soaking for 15 minutes, like, it's so important to have that time.
Good for you guys if you can keep your sanity with just 5 minutes to yourself.
Oh, no, I can't.
I cannot.
I can't.
Like that.
I'm just saying it's important at least 5 minutes. I can't do it with that.
At what amount of time do we say that we're like on the border of good parent and bad parent? Because I feel like I might be right in that border.
I'm right in that
age
border.
Of the kids, I think. How old
Me
are
and
your
you,
kids?
choo-choo. I'm right there with you.
Are they little?
Yeah, it's not about a love relationship.
No, not little, but they'll be 8.
But you're right.
I totally mean it as a joke. I try to bring The joy to the show.
I
I'm
know.
sorry,
No, I
Roger.
get
I
it.
cut you
But-
off again.
No, you're good. You're good. No, but you're bringing up a good point, because not just we're talking about relationships with a relationship partner, your kids. Your kids, you need to have a break from your kids. You know, that you need to have your independence from your kids. You've got these moms that sit there, the husband's working all day long, the mom is at home, she's working at home, she's constantly taking care of them, and then she gets home taking care of the husband, making sure he's fed, and you know, and she doesn't have time for herself. All right. And so, you know, it's important that they find that divide, because they need that. And it's not about, you know, when we talk about relationships, about you and your significant other, we're talking about with your kids, because sometimes we need breaks from our kids. We love them, but we need breaks from them.
Well, even just the act of having children and maintaining your, like who you are to yourself, it's very difficult, because you're like, oh, you know, like I want to do these things for my kids, but I really don't care for them, but I know it's good for them. And then you're, like you said, you're with them all the time. So it's like, oh, now you've lost some of your hobbies because you didn't have time for it and things like that.
And then you get those parents that say, well, that's what I signed up for. Well, no, you didn't. That's not, don't go with that attitude. You still are a person, regardless if you have 12 kids in your house. You still need your identity, regardless.
My kids are very appreciative of when I take time out for myself. I am a much better resource to them. The things we do together are of better quality when I'm keeping my independence. I know losing myself and trying to, you know, it's easy to get overwhelmed by all the, you know, work and kids and all the things that, especially being a single parent, entails. But when my mental health is better and when I'm just doing some of what I love, I have more to give to them.
I agree. Makes a lot of sense there. So, Greg, with your previous relationships that you've been in, have you found that you lost your independence in any of these relationships? I think you mentioned earlier that you did in one particular relationship.
Well, that tends to not be the direction I go. I tend to be, I traveled for years, 4 days a week, right? So I'm coming home or leaving either first flight Monday morning or last flight out Sunday night, coming home Thursday night. So, you know, and when I'm on the road, it was 7 a.m. in the hotel, up meeting the team, getting back to the hotel maybe for 10 or 15 minutes to go to the bathroom and call the kids, and then going to dinner, getting home back to the hotel 9, 10 o'clock at night. Not a lot of time in there. Huh?
It was hell. Your schedule was hell.
And then you throw international on it, and I'm gone for 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And you just get there's not a lot of time to talk, right? Like, because any time that I have that's down, I'm either sleeping or I'm trying to like unfry my brain. So I tend to go the other direction. I can tend to maintain my independence, but not necessarily be enough engaged, right? So
In a healthy relationship.
yeah. So that's my challenge. That's been my challenge. I still have those challenges, being, you know, I spend 8-9 hours a day on the phone, then I'm off to football practice, and then I'm back home, and then it's like 8 o'clock at night. So I'm kind of in the same cycle, but trying to be better about it.
Courtney, what do you do to find independence for yourself?
Well, when we were speaking about the bars earlier, I have 38 days sober. You do not want me in a relationship with you at a bar. It is.
I'm proud of you.
Good
girl.
job.
I am proud of you.
And so that's really important to me. You know, right now I'm making sure I take at least an hour to work on that with people that are like-minded. And I also do yoga. I travel sometimes for films, stuff like that, but I'm a little spoiled in that area. My kids are my son is 21 and in the Navy, my daughter is 18 and my youngest son is 13. So it's a little easier than when you have littles that are
Right.
having to go to practice and needing your full-time attention. That part of my life was a little more difficult to remember who I was. For sure.
Courtney, just awesome. Congratulations. I'll be 3
you.
years next month. So
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
I'm a
So
year and a
proud of you.
half.
What?
Oh my
And we're
God, look
calling
at
the show
us.
On The Rox. We're going to need to change the name.
Right?
I know, right?
Grab your favorite cocktail. How about mocktail?
How about my coffee?
My Mountain
Pepper.
Dew?
And it's not my first rodeo. I had a few years of sobriety time, so I know the difference. I know that I'm a better me, and I have much more to offer when I'm clean and sober.
I know you were in Vegas not too long ago, and you chose to go to an AA meeting at midnight and not.
Don't say that on the internet.
Oh,
They're
speak it
AA
loud.
for a reason, Roger.
Speak it
No,
loud.
I said 12-step meeting. Anyways,
Oh,
yes, I attend 12-step meetings. And that program saved my life. And I did go to a meeting in Vegas, a couple of them actually. And then the odd thing was I still, after a couple of meetings and really like feeling connected to what I needed to feel connected to, I went out with all the guys. Like we had me and these 7 most random dudes you would ever see. It was the beginning of what could have been a crazy story. Good thing I was sober. We had a really good time though. We did. We had fun, and I got to wear the sparkly dress I wanted to wear, and all the cool stuff. And I got to babysit the other drunk people.
That's what happens when you're
to be the
sober.
sober one. And then
Sometimes
you look at it and you're like, oh my God, was I that person?
So
Was I that
or worse.
bad?
I was definitely worse. Yeah, I was recording one of my friends that was out just so he could see it the next day, and he's like, "Oh my God, I don't want to see that."
Do you feel like when you were going through that oh, did we lose her?
Uh-oh.
Sorry, my kid's trying to call me. What was that?
No, I was gonna say because I mean this in no disrespect, and I'm not trying to like make you sound stupid, but like you obviously had an issue with alcohol. Do you feel like that had become your identity at that point? And did it?
It has off and on. For sure. I have had a problem with drugs and alcohol, and over the years that was my relationship. I was in a relationship with drugs and alcohol, and there was no room for anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So and then when I got sober, I felt like I needed to find someone that thought the same way as me, did this in the same 12-step program, and that was, I lost my identity. The last monogamous long-term relationship I had, I just poured myself into that human, and I had 3 kids, he had 3 kids, and I was just going to put his dinner on the table every night and take care of those kids, and that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And I was okay with that. And then I found out he had a pregnant girlfriend, and it just threw the whole thing off. So,
shit.
But it is what it is.
Really fucking quick. I'm so sorry.
I learned so much about myself through that. Just nothing's a waste, right? Like that we were together 3 years. The kids were really close. We were planning the wedding. We just put a down payment on a house, and yeah.
Oh wow.
Whew. So yeah, and then you know what? The last 5 years of my life, last 6 years of my life, have been phenomenal. I went back to school. I got my degree. I do photography full time. I found my independence. Independence.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And it's kind of hard because like a lot of people can't do that, and they struggle with it. And so when you can't find that independence, what do you suggest people do in that scenario?
I think it's one of these things where someone who's so wrapped up in and they lose their independence, it's honestly one of those things where I feel like they have to crash and burn before they're gonna realize like, holy shit, I I lost myself. I think nobody's going to be able to tell that person, hey, you're losing yourself. Let's snap back. No, when you're that deep, it's going to take a crash and burn before it's acknowledged and do better next time.
Is
type
somebody grunting in the background?
I think it's a dog.
I'm laughing. I was like, who is that?
Come here.
Sure, blame
Yeah,
it on the dog.
it's his Frenchie.
Come here.
He grunts like crazy. He is the cutest dog in the whole wide world.
I was like, what the hell is that?
Okay, he's
sound?
pretty cute.
That's Frenchie, and
We will allow it. We will allow it.
Yeah,
Listen to the noises.
He has.
This
very
is why I locked
important
my
opinions
cats
on
out.
Hey, Courtney, fix your mic setting because you're distorted.
Okay, what do you want me to? Am I just not talking into it?
No, you got to turn it down a little bit or back away from it.
Okay.
Because
Is
as
that
soon as
better?
you got the
there
phone,
you go.
yeah, there you go. As soon as you got the phone call and came back on, you started getting distorted.
Okay, how am I now?
You're
No,
perfect.
That's perfect.
Okay.
You're
That's good
perfect.
now.
I'll try not to move.
Oh,
Listen to that dog.
Usually, I'm on the phone all day long, and usually you can't hear him, but for some reason tonight, he's extra.
He's
He's
like,
stealing the
Dad, what
show.
are you doing?
I thought it was like one of Megan's kids in the background trying to make some noises.
Usually it would be.
Right.
Usually they're in here bugging me, but they're out tonight. Keeping themselves busy.
He sounds like a dinosaur.
He does. He's so cute.
Now imagine sleeping next to that all night.
I imagine you might be keeping your independence for longer than you planned on.
Right.
Especially when
I-
we bring somebody over, and then all of a sudden, they're like, "I can't sleep like this."
But if you bring someone over and they don't like your dog, that's an immediate red flag, right?
Absolutely.
Because if dudes are mean to my cats, like you can leave. You can
Yeah.
go.
I've got a pet squirrel.
Hell yeah.
So if somebody were to like disrespect my squirrel, they're out.
I got
They're
it.
gone. They're done. Call her a tree rat. Call her a tree rat because you will be out.
Oh God.
Where is
Did
your
you
rat?
rescue her as a baby? Where did the
Yeah, the day she was born, at a couple hours old, I found her and I've raised her. She'll be 2 in November.
Megan,
So,
have you?
but she's up in her house sleeping.
She has her independence. She's her own house.
Oh, she
Right.
makes sure she has her independence. She makes sure. She gets tired of mom. So
But who runs the house? Her?
her.
Does she have an Instagram?
No, but she should.
She should.
She should. Now that you say that, I'm on to something. You're on to something. I'm going to make her an Instagram.
Okay, I can't wait to hear about it next
Oh,
week.
yeah.
Next week, I'll tell you.
My
Okay.
daughter has an Instagram of her dogs.
Does she?
Yes.
Oh. Come
Yes.
on, Greg. Get on this train.
Back in the day, my dog had a MySpace.
Yeah.
but
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Now we know how old your dog is.
Not this dog. Not this dog.
Oh,
Different
okay.
dog.
Yeah. So Courtney mentioned a relationship she was in that she lost herself in. What about y'all?
I think mine was my marriage.
I think I
Really?
lost myself when I had my kids.
Yeah. Okay. Greg?
Yeah, my kid's mom.
Yeah. Same.
Always trying to make the other person happy, put them before your own happiness. And you can't always
Right.
do that. You
Right.
got to be happy too, because a relationship is called a relationship. It's a togetherness. It's two people becoming one, but you're not, right?
Sorry, Spice Girls.
Oh,
It's a give and take. It has to be even.
Lessons learned the hard way.
You got no balance in the relationship. You need to know when to give and take, and if you don't have that, then you guys don't have a relationship. You have a
But that's where
Situation
the type of relationships that I have come into play, because I say I'm in a relationship. I have someone that likes to fish, really likes to fish. Well, I don't want to fish, and we would rather have it where he doesn't want me to just tough through it and go fishing with him, even though I don't like it, and him have me there. I'm like, go fish, go find a girl that likes to fish, go have fun, and I'm gonna go do what I do. So I get to have a lot of independence because I really just want the people in my life to be happy, healthy, and loved properly.
But wouldn't you want to be able to share what he enjoys with him, as you would want him to appreciate the things that are important to you?
So the things that we both enjoy, we do together. I absolutely never want someone, I hate, no, that's just my brain. That's just how things work for me. Of course I want someone to enjoy the things I enjoy, but I'm not going to pick someone that doesn't already have a multitude of things in common with me. I'm not going to pick. There are men that try and date me that I'm just like, please stop talking. We have nothing in common. You just saw a face, you saw my face on the internet, and you think that you want to talk to me, and you don't. And that's, not everybody is for everybody. It doesn't work that way.
Because
it took a lot of practice to understand
Agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. People look at people from their outside. They're not looking at on the inside. Each person has their own personality, and you can't be with somebody because of their looks. You got to be with somebody because you have that personality connection, that emotional connection, the bond. You need to be able to know. I mean, I'd rather be with somebody that may be, semi okay, but that's the most badass personality in the world, than somebody who's friggin' beautiful and their brain is just pretty as dumb as a box of rocks.
Absolutely. And I don't know about everybody, but someone's physical appearance, it actually changes. The way I view them changes. I've seen people that seemed attractive from across the room, and then you talk to them for a few minutes and then you just feel slimy. You need to go home and take a shower. And it's super important to have that intimate, internal connection.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. You got to have that internal connection.
Go ahead, Lydia.
I was going to say, if I could give a different perspective, another perspective of this would be maintaining your identity in your family. So say your mom, for instance, Courtney, maybe she doesn't like tattoos. Do you, out of respect for her, I mean, seriously, though.
That one's funny because, I totally get what you guys are saying. I don't have any family. My mom actually said if I ever got tattoos or piercings, I wouldn't be allowed on her property. And so she disowned me at 17. And then she passed away. So that's a weird one for me. I would imagine I do have one living relative. My grandma is up north, and so I think I would take away from my independence. There's certain things that I do and don't not try and push in her face, if that makes sense.
Right.
I try and have respect for that. Her political beliefs are really strong, and sometimes, God, nobody wants to talk. I don't want to talk about politics with anybody ever. At all.
Right.
Stop talking.
Ever.
I have my own stuff, but we don't need to talk about it. It's okay.
Right.
So yeah, I get what you're saying, especially with I don't know. You guys tell me how it works with your family, because I made my own family, but I don't have any
Well, that's one thing. You don't talk politics with your family unless you know they're on your side. But if I got family members that don't believe the way I believe politically, I won't even have that conversation with them. There's no good end result to that.
No.
But I've had to warn people when going to meet my grandma. My grandma's amazing. If she tries to talk politics with you, please just nod and smile.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you do things out of respect for your grandmother. So is it not out of respect in a relationship then?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, this is for anybody.
No,
you know?
I don't have anything. So I don't have anything against monogamous relationships whatsoever. It's just every single time I have had one, the people are not happy. They're either not cheating because they're in that relationship and they wish they were, or they are cheating. And that's just the type of people we could get in that at a different time. Anyways, yes, I absolutely, there's things I'm willing to change things. I'm willing to do things if the other person, if that's important to them. Say my partner said, I really wish you would go fishing with me. It would mean a lot to me. I would go fishing with them. No problem. If it's going to make you happy, I can go fishing this time. I'll take photos while you fish. But what makes more sense, because we talked about earlier how important our time is, right? Like how valuable our time is, the time for us and then work and all that stuff, that little bit of leisure time, I would rather have my partner. Most of the time, we would rather each other be doing something they really love.
Right.
So I like what you said. Yeah, I'll go with you. You fish, I'll take pictures. I'm doing something I love. You're doing something you love. So you find a commonality. You find a where to meet the middle to make both
compromise.
Yeah.
And then he can put the fish pictures on his Facebook.
I was gonna say Tinder
or
MySpace.
Do any of you guys have a Tinder? I'm so curious.
No.
Oh,
I think it's still there, but I haven't checked it in years.
I had
a
8 hours.
Okay,
it was so gross.
Literally, it's all like 90% of it's all fake pictures, anyways.
Yours?
Roger does.
You have 98% fake pictures.
Roger.
No, you sit there and you look at your browsing for people. It's all like old. It's like fake pictures, like you would see in a magazine.
It's bots. Fake
a
people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like,
garbage.
This is what I looked like 10 years ago.
Or us filters, I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I can change someone's waistline, I can change everything within 30 seconds when I photograph.
But
people.
Roger does speed dating. He does meet and greets.
Wait, like a real thing, like on TV where you like ring the bell and then you go to the next person for a minute?
Probably.
No, I don't do that. No.
Probably.
No, I do
his cowbell. He takes his cowbell.
No, like when sometimes when I was dating people or whatever, and we would meet at Starbucks for a cup of coffee for the first date. Like a little meet and greet. Because
that's normal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is normal.
Okay.
Megan doesn't think it's normal, but it is. But yeah, I'm not going to sit there and spend $100 on a dinner 5 times a week with 5 different people.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because it gets expensive. That's like,
but
I need another job.
Do you spend a bunch of time like talking beforehand before the meet and greet, or do you just hey, you're good looking, let's have coffee?
No, yes, I do. We talk on the phone. I believe strongly you talk on the phone first to make sure there's that chemistry there. That
they're real.
That they're real. And then you go,
FaceTime.
Hey, let's go. Well, okay, you can FaceTime and talk on the phone, and then you go, let's meet, let's have a cup of coffee. And if that works, because when you talk to somebody on the phone and you meet them in person, sometimes they're a completely different person.
He wants to see how they smell.
In order to know that person is real, they can still catfish the fuck out of you on the phone, like FaceTime.
I know. Right.
Is what I was getting at.
Okay. No, and that makes sense. So yeah, I get to know them on the phone, see if there's personality there. And then, we send pictures. I'm like, okay, this person looks cute. Pictures are deceiving. I will tell you that right now. Mm-hmm. And you're a photographer. You know what I'm saying? You brought that up earlier. And then you meet them in person to see who they really are. Because the way people present themselves on a phone or FaceTime is a lot different than their whole realness in
how
person.
They are in person.
How do they treat the barista at Starbucks?
Bingo. And for dudes, how do they treat their mom?
Mm-hmm.
I always
That's
pay
huge.
Attention. How they treat their mom. Or even if she's not here, like my mom's not here. But how they speak of her. You know what
also, I mean? Like huge one is how they speak of their exes. If a guy says every single one of his exes was crazy, or she's a bitch, or she's like, for me, I'm like, oh,
Greg is right there.
Right.
Okay, I've had some crazy exes. I'm going to call their shit out.
I had to say Greg because he's being so quiet.
We've all had crazy exes, but we've also been in the wrong that, the reason for a breakup. You're bullshitting.
So you've been the crazy ex.
We've made them crazy, is what
I've totally been the crazy ex and made them crazy.
Bingo.
But it's how they approach that. It's what they use that information for. Are they entitled to why they cheated on her because she was crazy?
Right.
Are they carrying that around as their identity? I got wronged by, and that goes for any of us. I got wronged by this person and I got wronged by that person, and that's the way I am. I feel like those are such important factors to, especially what we're talking about, losing your identity, right?
And you could talk down about a partner without losing their credibility. Right. I mean, you could just say, hey, it didn't work with us. We had our own differences. We weren't working. I mean, they're a great person.
You don't have to trash them.
Right.
Or you don't even have to call them a great person.
Well,
you ain't got to give them that much credit, Roger.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying is that, you don't have to, like you said, you don't have to trash talk them to discredit them,
Right.
Because I'm sure they have words about you too.
Bingo.
That's where that truth and honesty comes right back into play, though. How are they, how are they conveying that to you? Are they playing a victim? Were they the victim? And of course, every scenario is different, I don't need to, we just talked about one of my relationships that ended poorly, but there was lots of benefits to it. I wish him the best. I know I'm better off without him. I dodged a bullet, but I don't need to say anything else. It all speaks for itself.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that, there we go. We're talking about, relationships and independence. And independence is not necessarily between you and a significant other. Independence is, in a relationship is with family, your kids. With kids. You need to set the boundaries with your kids and create, hey, mom and dad need our time. We need to go, mom and dad need to go out. And we're bringing the babysitter in, damn it.
Or even
Mama
your friends.
needs her time.
Yeah.
That's something that's actually not talked about enough, is the women needing relationship with other women to maintain.
Yes.
Because then you look at your man kind of like as the girlfriend and bringing those things that your girlfriends would give you, and then you need that from your man, and that's never good.
Right.
And it's important for men as well. If I'm talking to a guy and he doesn't have any friends, that's not a good sign. Who are you going to vent to when I make you crazy? Like what?
Yeah.
What's going on? It's really important for us to have other relationships, that we can be supportive to the life we're trying to live.
Right.
So how do you make friends at 35?
I'm saying.
That's for another episode.
That's another episode.
Yeah. Well, this was a really good topic.
It was. Definitely.
It was a really good one.
This wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, Roger. Thanks.
Oh, you're so welcome. I told
We're
you.
not that scary.
No.
But wait, hold on the scary topic. I think we need to do like a screening of the new movie and make Meg watch it on here.
Yes, for sure.
And watch her facial expression.
Not.
Yes.
Let's not.
Yes.
I'll see if I can. Our the one that created Cloud Motel. We'll see if we can get him to pop in, as a guest, and then we can screen it when it comes out. I think that'll be rad.
Over here about to drop out of my chest.
You can screen one of my movies.
I will. Yes, I will watch one of your movies.
Oh, you'll watch one of Lydia's, but you won't watch one of Courtney's?
I did play a clown in a movie.
Oh no, baby girl, no. I
Rip
love you
Van
and I will
Winkle
support
3.
You,
Shameless plug.
But no. I'll sit this one out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The next movie I do, I play a cult member.
Oh, I can do
exciting.
That. I can do that. I can watch that.
So
that'll be.
I will have to make sure that I don't get fully engulfed in the character and lose the identity of myself.
Yes.
See how I brought it full circle?
There you go. You brought it.
And that's how you make friends at 35. You find cult members.
Right.
It's gonna be a good movie. I already know.
All righty. So guys, we're gonna have a great episode next week. Keep on watching. I'm so excited to have Courtney joined the team. She's obviously a great addition to the show. So, Courtney, we're happy to have you here. Greg, thanks for coming in tonight and chiming in on the conversation.
You'll have to come back, Greg.
Absolutely. I'd love to come back.
And don't talk so much, okay? Like I was getting really tired of hearing you.
Yeah.
But make sure you bring the dinosaur back.
Yeah.
Yeah, where did he go?
He's laying here wanting attention. He has not
Is
had
he?
attention all day. So
You got to
He's
tell him
gonna
you
start
need your
grunting
independence right now.
Yeah.
This is your time, damn it.
Tell him your
Tell
love
him.
language is being alone.
Tell him.
That's not far from the truth.
Right. All right, guys. Thank you for watching this episode of Love on the Rocks. Make sure you guys share, and share. Please. We just want to get the word out that we have a great show. We're live every Monday nights, 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific, Facebook and YouTube at Love on the Rocks podcast. And we also rebroadcast on all podcast platforms, wherever you guys get your podcast. So thank you, everyone. You guys have a great night. We'll see you all next week.